Well, hello. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Sorry, guys, I'm just waking up, still wiping the coal out of my eyes. Sometimes I think that's the best time to go live. When you feel like talking, it's like just do it. Good to see you, Miss Thang. Frank Meister, Rescue. What's up, D? Yeah, I literally just said, hey, let's go live. Click the button. And if anybody wants to call in, just, not to hang out too long, for about 5 minutes at a time, feel free if you have a question or a comment. I think mainly I would like to talk about the quote unquote crime scene photos that are kind of circulating social media. Let me know what you think about that in the comments if you could, please. Good to see you, Rescue D, Frank, Miss Thang, Freckle Joy. Good to see you. Who else we got? Julianne. We got Jill Moser. Good to see you, Jill. Good to see you, Katie. Yeah, I was doing yard work yesterday. Good to see you, Sassy. Grunge Truck. Freckled. Yeah, I think this is going to be the last hurrah. That seems to be the case whenever the seasons are changing. You get one last blast of heat, and then on the opposite end, you'll get a blast of cold. What's up, Jerry, Beth, James, Miss Thang? I'm very curious about the photos also where they released along with the documents recently released. I don't know. One thing I know is that the little group of people that are kind of circulating this information, I don't trust any one of those people. And right now, they're the only source of information I have pertaining to it. So I don't buy it. Until I can prove it, it's all bullshit to me. Because I don't see anything wrong with having them. Some people, just because the overall maturity level of the true crime community is very low when it comes to maturity, I'm not going to let that dictate where my maturity level lies, right? Imagine being a medical student. I can imagine what they see. Some people can handle it, some people can't. But the difference between me and most of those folks, if I was to see those photos, I would not be looking at Abby and Libby. I'd be looking at the vehicles that they were driving. Because unlike them, I believe in heaven. And in my mind, just like Abby and Libby and anybody who has lost loved ones in the past, I believe they're all watching what we're doing. What's up, Sassy? What's up, Redfoot? Good to see you guys. James says, I would think those photographs are highly secure. Couldn't imagine they'd magically surface. I don't know. I wouldn't put anything past a defense team. They're going to do everything and anything they can. Oops, you know, I'm pretty sure that's what investigators and prosecution did with the Keegan Klein information. Oops. You would hope it was secure. What's up, Colette? Freckled says, I see the worst in humanity every day. Every day. There is enough in the world to be upset about, so I don't feel the need for manufactured anger. We all knew this was going to come out eventually. Yeah, and it's not about what you do, right? It's how you do it. I think there's a big. So I typed in the Delphi murders, crime scene, leaked crime scene photos, because I was hoping to pull up Reddit. And sure enough, the first thing Reddit was about Delphi After Dark. So we'll go look at that Reddit post. The comments are crazy. Like everybody loves outrage, right? Everybody loves to virtue signal, and then on the other hand, you have the outrage. So we'll go take a look at that. I've only read two of them, and I was like, oh man, I got to show everybody this before I go any further. Ah, see, freckled it. Yeah, it's the virtue signaling on both ends and the outrage. Everybody wants to be outraged. Oh my gosh. But nobody really cares about anything. Because if they did, they would show it in their actions. You know, remember what I try to teach you guys about the manipulative type? What they do is they try to convince you with words. And then if they can convince you, then they don't need any actions. If they can just spend all day convincing you of what they've accomplished, you don't need to see anything from them. Hiawatha, what's up? Yeah, and some people don't want to see him. Some people can't see him. Some people think that it's bad. Everybody has their opinion. Just don't force your opinion upon others. You know, everybody's allowed to have their opinion. Hey, Redfoot, but couldn't the defense get charged with distributing CSAM? I don't know. I saw that in a comment somewhere and I thought that was very interesting. But it also made me think of the West Memphis 3 case. You remember how they showed the crime scene and the bodies and the private parts and everything? Just think about the way it made you feel in your stomach. Like, why did they do that? And then I couldn't help but think, like, in a way, that is kind of CSAM. Like, are they doing this because they know a certain group is kind of getting off on it, or are they trying to show the absolute truth of what happened? See, I know what men are capable of, but that doesn't mean that just because men are capable of this type of evil doesn't mean that was their intention. But until I know, I'm very suspicious all the time. What's up, Cheeks? Grunge Truck. Yeah, Israel. I'm going to cover that on channel 2 later tonight. Going crazy. Armageddon. And it just scares me because we have open borders. And if you put a gun in each one of those hands, it's an army. You know, we know the damage a lone shooter can do. Imagine 1,000 lone shooters. Just by surprise, you know. You're going to your lunch break, right? Oh, you know, where am I going to go today? Where do you guys want to go for lunch today? You know, next thing you know, there's a war on the streets. What's up, Steven? Somebody on the defense team is leaking info to Snay. I really doubt that. He had the Odinite stuff before it was released, and his video is almost identical to the. That's not true. Everybody had that information. If anybody had it first, it was Frank Meister. Or if anybody was covering it first, look, there's piles of information that a lot of these content creators and people who've been looking into the Delphi case, theory after theory, that we haven't really put out into the public. The F tree was one of those subjects that started to gain momentum. And if anybody was talking about it first, it was Frank Meister. But behind the scenes, people have been talking about it. So it's not like the defense team is feeding anybody anything. The defense team, they're their own group of online sleuths. That's the level that they're at. Nothing, anything that comes from the defense team, I don't deem it official. Freckle says, as soon as these pictures become public, the most outraged will be the first to look. Humans are annoying. What? Miss Thing says, I can be honest here, I think, and say that I would look at them just for myself. Yeah, personally, or to share them with people um, who are professionals, you know, maybe better understanding the case. Yeah, so to me, I don't have any problem with somebody having those in their possession. The annoying part, I think, would be like the virtue signaling. Like, hey, I have them, but I'm not going to show you. It's almost like now you have to believe everything I say from this point because now you believe that I know. And if you believe that I know, everything I say from here on out, you will believe is true. And I'm sure some of you will fall for that. Chopper. What's up, Chopper? Good to see you. Sealess. If those photos have been leaked, law enforcement needs to know and deal with it. Yeah, I don't think it would hurt to let them know, like, hey, you guys know that these are circulating, right? Is there any laws being broken here? If these are confidential and just some random person has it, like, are there legal issues with that? Goes back to the CSAM question. I don't think that that would apply, but man, I guess it depends on who's looking at the images, right? Whether it's CSAM or not. What's going on, Beth? I think the Woodhouse dude is spreading this stuff. He said he was sent the discovery accidentally. Oh, yeah, I keep hearing this guy's name. I'm getting leaker vibes. I'm telling you guys. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so Hiawatha's saying that Woodhouse is the source. So I wouldn't doubt if he was tied to the leak of that F tree image. And he may be responsible for manufacturing fake images. And hopefully he's not in possession of snuff, something that the actual killer took. So hopefully in some of those images you see investigators or whatever, you know, hopefully it's not, because if you got somebody just out there randomly taking photos like at night of the crime scene, those may not be part of the discovery. Maybe something else. I don't know what you mean. He even had the symbol on the tree. Okay. Did you guys know that they took gullible out of the dictionary? Can you believe that? I was like, why would you do that? I was like, I use that word all the time. It actually has a meaning. They're like, no, it's not a real word. So I was shocked. It's like, you can't take that out of the dictionary. Did you guys know that? Hey, grunge, yes. It's getting ugly. But I'm sure in that courtroom it'll be much more organized. Miss Thank says, seems RS, who's that? Oh, Rick Snake announced his involvement in the what documentary? This stuff all starting to come out? Oh, they're making another Delphi documentary? Interesting. I have to check it out. When's it supposed to come out? I could see Rick Snake part of some documentary. I could see it. James, oh wait, sorry. Until I see documents and vet them first, I don't believe anything the defense is doing. I agree. Or any of these YouTubers. These and they're all the hypocrites, right? Richard Allen's an innocent man. So, and it's I'm telling you, it's part of this whole ego thing. Remember, these are the same guys who were accusing all these people, right? They were sure that Kelsey had something to do with it. They were sure Mike Patty had something to do with it. They were sure it was DP. They were sure it was Ron Logan. And the reason it's not Richard Allen is because their ego can't accept the fact that they were wrong, right? It's not Richard Allen because that's not their guy. They never even saw Richard Allen. So therefore, they know that they were on the right path. And this is a character flaw. It's bizarre. So just remember that the one thing that these folks have in common at one point they were 100% sure it was Kelsey, 100% sure it was Ron Logan, and now it's 100% not Richard Allen. So I want you guys to see these patterns. Remember, that's something they all have in common. What's up, Mary Flynn? GP's in the house. Good to see you guys. Return the diamonds. Ruckus is in the building. Frank, Ruckus, any of you guys want to buzz in? Give a piece of your mind and then bounce. Let me know. I'm getting ready to pull up this Reddit post. It's the outrage is absurd. Like we all know I'm not a big fan of Rick Snake, but I don't think he's doing anything to hurt anybody. But it is, I mean, it's just kind of funny to watch all of this. Funny and sad, really. Funny, like if you can't laugh at it, then we're all doomed anyway. Okay. Okay, let's narrow it down to the past 24 hours. And there's the first one. Let's see. It says Snay is claiming that he has crime scene photos. So what? He's not sharing them. I think that's the important thing to We can all laugh at the virtue signaling part, but I mean, like I said, we all have character flaws, right? That's obviously one of his. Like, look how good I am. Others would have shown it, not me. But you got to know it, right? That's what virtue signaling is. Oh, here, let me share my screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're going to read these together. I mean, it's a little nutty. Let's see. Well, it appears we've gotten out, so I might as well address it. Okay, so he's saying it himself. He's saying I have the images. So I don't know. Can we believe that? Are they those weird ones from back in the day where people were like using the RTV6 chopper footage and zooming in? They're like, oh my gosh, horns or whatever. Is that what he's referring to, or is he talking about legit actual images? So I don't see anything wrong with him having them or even wanting to see them. That's not what I'm doing personally. I don't have them and I don't want to see them, but I think I'm mature enough to handle being able to see them. And I don't have a problem with him receiving them if somebody sent them to him. I think it's important that he's not sharing them, at least with people, because he's already showing that he's not mature enough to really have them because he felt the need to let us know that he has them, right? So that's already showing that he couldn't handle it. So hopefully he leaves it at that. I have them, but I can't resist telling you that I have them. I don't, there's something telling about that part. But it's no big deal in my opinion. It's just something I'm pointing out. Here, I think I can zoom this in here. I'm on Reddit right now. Okay. So I don't ever go on Reddit. Um, Reddit's just as bad as Facebook. But whenever there's breaking news, sometimes you'll find a lot of information about what's going on social media in one small location. And usually it's Reddit. What's up, Mary Flynn? Cheek says on the memorandum they had a bunch of notes stating different images, but they were not attached. But some people are saying they were attached for a time and then removed. Well, a lot of the stuff they attached was just Facebook posts. I went and gathered most of them. The only one I couldn't find was Brad Holder's image from one of his social media profiles of some girls laying on the ground with sticks covering them. Everything else I found that relates to Brad Holder that was mentioned in the memorandum as an exhibit. So we've gathered all of that. Cheek says, I still don't think the F tree image is not real, but who knows? Yeah, who knows? Right now, if you can't prove it in the way it was released and from what I can see with my own eyeballs, fake as hell. And I would pay close attention to the people pushing this information. Always consider the source. Redfoot says, unless it's someone that's actively working the case, it would be considered as possession, I think. Yeah, if anybody is in possession of those images, I would consult maybe an attorney or somebody who knows the law a little bit. Unless that's just a dumb question. And also, if you are in possession of crime scene photos, make sure of what you are looking at. Some people aren't even smart enough to know what they're seeing. You can't put toothpaste back in a tube. I could easily. But I think what you meant to say was Pandora. Pandora doesn't go back in the box. He only comes out. Curry meter. Did they really? Why would they take it out of the dictionary? Yeah, they did, man. It's out. It's out of there. Nice. Good one, Ruckus. Funny thing is, I still said it in my head. See, this is like, wait, what? Oh, you almost got me. Don't get me started, James. Hey, what's up, Mark? Welcome. I found a pic of the F tree online too. I sent it to you on Discord. It's real.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just like your opinion, man. Your opinion, man.
Had to hit you with that one, Cheek. Sorry. Big worm. What is the evidence that it's Richard Allen then? The ejected 40 caliber casing? That's just not enough. Okay, I got to hit you with this too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just like your opinion, man. Your opinion, man.
Hey, that was two back to back. Julia says, I rewatched your video when you had the call with JP. Not sure how I feel about his story. Any updates on him? Yeah, I talked to him recently. He was like, hey, man, my girls are becoming teenage, are getting into their teenage years. If you could get rid of anything that where I called in or any of that kind of stuff, if you could take that down. He's like, I know you don't have to, and I gave you my permission. He's like, but just as a favor to me, he's like, I know you're a father. I was like, yeah, sure. So I took him down. And then we had another conversation, a private conversation. Redfoot says, unless they are law enforcement actively working the case, they're not supposed to have it. They could get charged with possession with intent to distribute. So either he's incredibly stupid or full of shit, in my opinion. See, I don't know the laws. And he could have them. I don't know. Like I said, the fact that he had to tell us about it, that's the only reason I question it. It seems like a way to manipulate somebody into believing everything that follows. But I still think the important thing is that they haven't been released, right? I think all this other little stuff like the virtue signaling and the, hey, look at me, that stuff's, that's just personality issues. And people might agree and people might disagree. But the point is they're not being released, right? So we need to focus on that. I don't have any issues with anybody having them as long as they're not putting them up on YouTube or selling them to some company making a documentary. I think that would be equally as bad. Hiawatha says, I bet the murder sheet wishes they had never befriended Rick Snay. I don't know. I think the murder sheet really likes Rick Snay. They work together a lot. And I really like the murder sheet. Each to their own. Shock job. Bullshit. Jim Cook will come in and put everything into perspective. Yeah, I think Rick Snay does fancy himself as somewhat of a shock jock, and he kind of is. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting all this feedback from my cell phone. Are you guys catching that? Sleuth Intuition. One of your vids from a year ago came up on my feed. It was titled "Ritualistic Murders." I watched it and found some interesting thoughts about the subject a year ago. Yeah, we rewatched that a couple days ago. I downloaded it and we played it. We did like a replay crew type thing. Yeah, it was pretty good, and we were talking about Norse paganism then. So this is nothing new, guys. Nothing new. Old theories, old theories, and old POIs. And yeah, could they be involved? Sure. Have I seen anything? I haven't even seen any proof that they were in Delphi. See, people just overlook those kinds of things. We can put Richard Allen at the trail. So right there, he's already the best suspect, right? Now, if the defense drops a memorandum and they're putting in a lot of contradictory information, if you choose to follow that, that's your decision. Ruckus says, I put a short video a few weeks ago saying a storm was coming in Delphi. I'm nothing special. I just knew what the defense was about to do. They don't hide things at all. James says, reason Snay is saying he has them. Well, the reason he's saying he has them is so we keep saying his name. He knows what he's dealing with. The bloodlust. It's more about showing his importance. He's highly important and in the loop, theoretically right. And he might be. If you wiggle your way in there, it happens. Stay or Snay has claimed a lot of things, but where are his receipts? Well, in this case, right, you can't show the receipts out of respect. But you got to know that he has them. That way you believe what he says. I don't trust him at all. I just want facts. These girls killers behind bars, all the other drama needs to disappear. Well, the good thing is all the other drama is out here, right? Where it doesn't really matter. They're going to have an opportunity to run through that trial. This is all just hysteria on our part. All right, let's go through some of these comments here. I'm pretty much caught up on the chat. Good point, sees through. You could put 10 Odinites at the scene and they haven't put one. That don't mean it ain't Rick on the bridge. I believe that is Richard Allen on the bridge. Am I sure? No. Let him have his trial. He will have his trial. So we don't need to let him. We don't need to, guys, calm down. It doesn't matter what we do. He's going to go to trial. And we have no control over that. As much as we're like, hey, you need to calm down over there, or you need to stop doing what you're doing over there, or, well, what about you, hypocrite? It really doesn't matter. He's going to have his day in court. And none of this bullshit will ever matter. It matters now. It's because we're curious. And to me, I'm more interested in the human behavior part, to watch the way these people play out things and the way they act and the way they try to control people. I'm more interested in that. What's with all these weird names on Reddit? Like, what does this even mean? XD Long High? From, oh, it's Canada. Damn Canadians. I'm feeling an a boot joke coming about a boot. I have an a boot joke coming a boot. Law enforcement has had these photos for many years. I imagine it's likely someone who has just received them that is leaking them. Oh, Captain Obvious over here. The defense would never leak these. Oh, it's because you know them. You're friends with them. Little barbecue over at Rosie's. Let's see this name. Relationship number 4045. Yeah, I'm not going to listen to somebody who's on a relationship 4045. X Bell. Wait, what is that? Oh. Why announce it? He could have just kept quiet. Guess he wanted to. Gotta let everyone know he is in the know. Yep, that seems to be the consensus. I don't think that's a big deal. I just hope he knows it's that obvious. And also do some virtue signaling. That's exactly what it is. But to me, I think the important thing is they're not being released. We all have character flaws, right? All of these Delphi creators have main character syndrome. They might be right. The documentary has caused some swelled heads. What documentary? Feels like it should be illegal to be in possession of a pic of a nude dead minor. See, that's what Redfoot was saying. So, yeah, there might be some legal ramifications there. I'm not sure. Diamond says Snay has claimed a lot of things, but where are his receipts? Yeah, you can be wrong 9 times and right on the 10th. Freckled, you had a stroke? Sorry to hear that. Take care of your health. I'm sure you are. Cheek says, what about the fact he said he was there in those clothes at the time? He confessed to his wife and mother already. Say what you will about that. I don't know, Cheeks. I think there's two ways to look at that. And I think I know the way the defense is going to play it. Why would a guilty man call the tip line and meet with Dan Doolin? A guilty man's not going to do that. But a smart criminal would, right? He went free for 6 years because he did that very thing. This is a very smart man, I think we're dealing with. And when I say smart, I'm talking like a dark empath, where you're kind of feeling things out and you can kind of do like some Jedi mind trick shit on people. It's possible. I know you guys are like, what the fuck is this dude babbling about? But it's true. People can play situations like that and they can hide right in front of you. Just like the movie Usual Suspects. You play a part from the very beginning and people will underestimate you. Um, and also, he's going to admit that he's wearing that clothes because he knows he's gotten rid of the actual clothes, right? He's burned all that up. So, yeah, I do own a blue Carhartt jacket, and that's kind of what it looks like in that video. So, go take a look at that one. It wasn't anywhere near this crime scene. So, why not admit to it? Because I don't think it was a Carhartt jacket. I think it was more of a windbreaker type jacket, the one that he's wearing in the mall with Kathy Allen. That's the jacket that's on the bridge, in my opinion. And that's probably the reason why he no longer has a Facebook. Frank says, I still believe they found something during the search warrant that directly ties him to the scene. Well, yeah, the gun. That's why the defense wants to get rid of it. It's the one thing they can't explain. They want to try to act like, oh, law enforcement planted that there, or they cycled it themselves. Like, come on. Like, how ridiculous is that? I'm not saying it hasn't happened or that cops won't try to do shit like that, but come on, guys. That's like every case now. Nothing ever went through the court that's fair. We can't trust any cops at any point in time. Come on now. Hey, what's up, Joey? Yeah, keep your head up. Slay the rings. Not sure if it should be up to those three people whether or not people see them, but that's another chat. That's one guy's out there for sure. Ruckus says a week ago, defense released a graphic description of the crime scene. People were shocked. This week, CS photos get leaked. The defense is very obvious in what they are trying to accomplish here. Yeah, so I think what you need to focus on, guys out there, viewers who are interested in the Delphi case and who follow all these YouTube creators, watch what they do next. Watch how they use this information. Pay close attention and make up your own minds. But that's my only advice to you is from this point on, pay very close attention to their actions. Because if they are sitting on real crime scene images, that's basically going to be used throughout the next week, the upcoming weeks to months as content. So if you want to see if somebody's going to be ethical, now's the time to pull out the magnifying glass. So if anybody else starts claiming, hey, I have the crime scene photos too, or they start leaking it, well, we know who could be a potential source for that. Hey, my guy Anthony. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you. This is equal to jury tampering from the defense, in my opinion. Yeah, borderline, right? I don't know much about the law, but you would think it's not. I mean, it's definitely not ethical, but it's very strategical. Big fish. Didn't they say that Westfall lives like right by the bridge or something? And also the chick that let whoever borrow her car said they were going to Delphi with it? Is that a question? James says yes, but I do believe everyone is underestimating McClelland. I don't think so. I think he's just laying back. His fight is in the courtroom. Right now, the defense is fighting their battle out on social media. And the reason they're doing that is because they don't want the online sleuthing community to be looking at their client. They took the bait. I don't know if you guys have ever been fishing before or not. But it's always the fish that kind of nibbles at the bait. Like, what is this? And he takes his little fin and he like grabs the string, like, oh shit, there's a string here. You don't want to just bite down on the hook. Because once they got you, they got you. Like there's even people posting new side by sides. They've already believed that Richard Allen is an innocent man, and we're going to start doing new side by sides of the guy in the bridge. It's ridiculous. All right, let's see. Glum Jello. What's with these weird names, guys? Glum Jello. Anyone can claim anything. How am I supposed to believe Snakey? What's oh, she's talking about Rick Snake. Obtain anything like this. Blind faith. Yeah, I definitely don't believe they're real, but that's just because I would have to make up my mind for myself. But if they are real, I don't have any issue with it. Here's Kevin and Anya. Is that am I saying that right? Anya Greenlee. Oh shit, did they get married? Or have they been married? I'm so stupid. There have been many rumors about a leak of crime scene photos in the Delphi case. We will not be permitting any alleged crime scene photos to be posted in our group, nor do we want the discussion of said photos in this group. Nice. Putting aside any questions of authenticity, people who knew and cared about Abby and Libby follow this case. See, this is just some more virtue signaling bullshit. Get over yourselves. If you're professional, you should be able to look at crime scene photos. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Especially coming from an attorney. Like, what are you going to do if you're part of a murder trial? I can't see that. My virtue will not allow it. Where's my virtue glasses, babe? Thank you. Miss Thang says, "Isn't the documentary supposed to air on the CW channel? What's this? What is the CW channel? Is it a Delphi documentary? I'll definitely check it out." I can be wrong 9 times and wrong on the 10th. Good for you, Big Fish. Congratulations. Original badass. Always good seeing you, Sleuth. Man, your intuitive skills about the align perfectly with mine. People forget that a highly intuitive person knows exactly what you're saying without ever speaking a word. Kind of feel the intentions in the air. I know what you're up to. Well, I hope you have a successful recovery, Freckled. Once upon a crime. What's up? Can I have your email address? Can't find it online. Can't upload on your live. What do you mean? My email is sleuthintuition@gmail.com. It's on my homepage of my YouTube channel. Anybody who says they can't find my email address, they didn't look. But that's okay. You can just ask me for it. You don't have to make up a story. And what do you mean you can't upload? You mean you can't click the link? If you can't click that link, that means that you've been blocked. And you're using a new name. Anthony says, yeah, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy Julie. She's great. What's up, Peter? I'm doing well. How are you? Got some Julie Melvin fans. Slatherings, you think he wore the jacket in Facebook pics? Yes. Possibly, maybe that's one of the things they took from their house. No, I think that jacket was burned or is gone. That's why it's smart of him to say, hey, yeah, I was wearing a Carhartt jacket. That way, when they go find the Carhartt jacket, which hopefully they trace the cell, and you're going to find it was after the killing or the murders of Abby and Libby. So why not mention it? Yeah, I think that was just misinformation, to be honest, Big Fish. His wife printed what? James says, sorry, I feel Julie Melvin talks out of both sides of her neck. Depends on the platform. Well, I know that she doesn't have the support of Becky Patty. I know that personally. Whatever that means. I don't have any problems with Julie. Remember, people can say what they want. It's up to you if you're going to choose to believe them and spread it as truth or not. People don't take any personal responsibility. Coy Cox, 100% trust to be a stand up guy. Well, I don't know him. So how can you say that about Ligat, but not? Oh my God. Crime scene photos have been released. Well, there's just talk that people have them, and I don't believe anything that those people say. So they could, but the people that are discussing it, I don't trust that group. All of them are like little trolls. They like to get into little online beefs and dox people. It's really weird. And right now, those are the only people I'm hearing even discussing it. Tammy Martin, no crime scene photos of the bullet, plus the investigators did not collect the sticks laid on the victims. Sloppy is the word. I don't know. I'm not a crime scene investigator. Were they supposed to take the whole, like, part of the woods? We're going to take every tree in a 100-yard radius back to the laboratory. Nedra. That was very passive aggressive. But I get your point. Thanks, Silas. I wouldn't go trusting me too much. Don't trust anybody. That way you'll be safe. River Dog Bass Dude, what's up? I like that name. You ever gone fishing with the salamander or a water dog? I definitely find it interesting that the photos are popping up a few weeks after they divulged their defense theory. Yeah. And that's what Ruckus is trying to say. It's all part of a strategy. If they're real, right? Sounds like Ruckus thinks they could be real and part of a strategy by the defense. And I don't blame them. I think it's a non issue. Now, I get what you're saying, Nedra. Joey says, Sleuth, the fact that cops lie and have lied. Yeah, trust me, they've lied on me. I had a cop try to kill me. I have no blind faith in law enforcement. Have a hard time believing that they say is true. You shouldn't believe what they're saying is true. And it really doesn't matter if we believe what they're saying is true. They're going to have their day in court. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's getting all outraged, and it really doesn't matter. We can have the discussion, but playing along with this make believe game that people are controlling the narrative, and you know, in some cases, yeah, it is possible, but I just don't think that's what's happening. Freckle Joy says, I think it's Jason Jensen. He works for the defense. Yeah, and I think he's a Ron Logan accuser. So, how is it? Is Ron Logan a pagan too? They always say, "Oh, well, there's no connection to paganism with Richard Allen, so he's not involved." Okay. Do you think Ron Logan's involved in somehow? Oh yeah. Okay. What's his connection to paganism? I don't know. Oh, okay. Good theory, bro. Good luck with that. Please debunk the conflict of interest with McClelland being in the family loop. Well, first you got to prove that he's in the family loop, and then we'll talk. Anthony says if the defense knows he's innocent, why didn't they push for a speedy trial instead of letting their client sit in jail? It's a good question. And why do they want the search warrant thrown out? Wouldn't they want all that evidence presented and be like, look, you found nothing? Think about it. They really wanted Ron Logan to be their guy. The FBI wanted to put this on Ron Logan so bad. And he looked so guilty, trying to create an alibi. They're like, Judge, I think we're going to find something. But guess what? They didn't find anything. Nothing. Redfoot says, I read all that this morning. If you see username Banshee795, that's me. All right, we're looking for Banshee. How far down are you? Here, let's read some more of these. Curious LMR. If this is true, it's so unnecessary to broadcast it like this. I agree, but I don't think it's the biggest deal. It's just how I think it's a character issue, whether good or bad. He could have contacted his other creators and asked everyone to keep the pics private and stop sharing them. None of us would have known about this otherwise. Yeah, I can't have that. It wouldn't be a successful virtue signal otherwise. All this message did was tell everyone that the pics are out there and sketchy people will be looking at them for now. Yeah, sketchy is a good word. Increasing the likelihood that they get out on social media. Well, if they do, we know who leaked them. The same person who couldn't keep from saying they had them, right? Was born in a small town. He's full of shit. Oh, I'm missing all these replies. These are just ad hominem attacks. All right, let's take a look at a couple more of these. I just got an email I was looking at. AKW double ot one. It appears it's gotten out. Anyone know if and where this was previously mentioned? Oh, is that it? Okay, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot. Let's see if we can find Banshee. These are just like a whole bunch of Rick Snay haters. Yeah, and if you don't like the guy, you're just gonna lean towards that. You know what I mean? You gotta look at things objectively. I probably need to refresh this. Oh well, that's enough of that. Yeah, so if you don't like Rick Snay, you're gonna be outraged. And if you do like Rick Snay or you want him to be your friend, you're gonna be like, oh, at least you didn't share him. Just don't dox me. Whatever you say, Rick, just don't dox me, sir. Don't come behind me and choke me when I'm drinking at the bar. As long as you don't do that, I'm on your side. Once Upon a Crime says, I've nibbled at no bait and have always been an observer from way back. I observed the bait. If you nibble, you may get hooked when they set it. See again, I'll move on, but would love you confidentially to see. Nah, we good, homie. We good. We good, dog. Molly says it's just a small town, rural area, relatives. If that kind of thing was not allowed, they'd have no one to do quite a few jobs. Yeah, exactly. Small town America. It's the first thing that popped in my head. Like, first of all, you got to tell me that he's in the family. Then you got to show me what part of the family he is. And then you got to show me the law on how that would exclude him. I meant maybe they found some of the old pics. Yeah, they could have, because according to the memorandum, any of the updated parts of the Frank's hearing, they want they want to put a deadline on the discovery. So what that tells me is that the prosecution hasn't given everything that they have yet. There's some things, and I don't know if that's old theories, all the stuff on Ron Logan, all the stuff on Daniel Nations, on any of these other people that they were looking into. I don't know if they want all of it. So I'm not sure. But it does sound like they haven't given everything over. So hopefully they have something solid, and it could make this entire Odinism thing just disappear, right? Like, hey, ha ha ha, look what you didn't know we had this, right? Okay, now we got to change our strategy. So I'm hoping it's one of those wise men become fools type moments, but we'll see. Thanks, Frank. 54 likes and 152 in the chat. Scrubsville. Thank you, Miss Thang. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. Hiawatha says it's personal between Becky and Julie. Julie's sister is Cody's biological mother. Yes, I'm aware of that. Little one says BG is wearing a winter coat with a black stripe down each sleeve. I disagree. But you never know. Familial connection between Becky and Nick would probably be a problem, but in some place that small, everyone is related to each other. Yeah, we don't know how they're related. Yeah, it's really strange. Molly says, gotcha. Thanks, that sleuth. I stay away from those people. I don't want to listen to people argue and slander and dox and threaten. I've got other things to do. Yeah, you guys need to pay close attention to the way people, not just how they talk, how they walk, and the things that they tell you. And it kind of scares me that a lot of people aren't alarmed. That to me, that makes me think that maybe they have something in common with these folks. Mangela says, I do think the sticks covering the girls should have been taken for DNA. What about the sticks next to the girls? What about the sticks 10 feet away? What about all of the sticks leading from the other side of the creek to where the clothes were found, leading up to the crime scene? Should they collect all of those as well? Why just those? Julia says some people claim to know where the exact F tree is. Is that public information? How would they know which one it is? Yeah, that's a good point. Joey says, Sleuth, the cops should have taken any tree limbs on and around the victims if that is, in fact, where they were really found. I don't know much about crime scene investigating. I don't know anything about CSI, really. So I don't know how important that would be or why you would expect there to be DNA. If it looks like they were covered, I just don't I don't know enough about it to say yes or no. From the outside looking in, yeah. I would have also taken the wherever they put this so-called signature or even if it was like blood splatter. And the thing is they didn't think it was a signature, right? So why take it? Take a photo of it, take a sample of it, and we're good. That part makes sense to me. But when you're thinking, oh, well, these are runes and this is a signature on the tree, like then you're like, I should have collected everything. But I think that was for the investigators to decide. Somebody from the FBI was on scene. Thanks, GP. I'm not going to argue with you, Big Fish. Not in the mood. Yeah, I mean, technically they did collect them. So, yeah. But I think they're asking, why did they collect them right away? I agree with that. But then again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Jim says, I'm interested in the Dan Doolin saga. It's a stone I would like to see overturned. Yeah, Jim, you were on the Dan Doolin thing from the very beginning. Could be something there. I mean, think about it. Richard Allen, either Richard Allen was free for 6 years and he committed the crime because of the actions that he took, right? He knew that he was witnessed. So therefore I need to come forward or they'll eventually find me and then I'll look guilty. But if I come forward now, I can be a witness. And if for whatever reason you can convince the officer who's doing the interview, then you're good. So if he goes up there with his wife and he's looking all pitiful, little old me. Nice. That sounds wonderful. Shout out to Ben. Make sure you give Ben some grub. Freckle Joy says it's not uncommon for a defense team to point a finger at someone else and conduct their own investigation. No, it's like 101, defense 101. Once the defense has the discovery, it became their case too. Exactly. The prosecution has a strategy. Now the defense has a strategy. We've been deciphering the prosecution for the last 5.5 years. It was much easier to do it with Richard Allen's defense team. Once Upon a Crime, I have all those images, by the way. I think they're saying they actually have discovery crime scene images, not the J. Kyle Keener stuff. Freckled says, I'm not a fan of Snay. He has main character syndrome, but I'm not offended someone has the crime scene pics. Yeah, I'm not offended by that either. You know, as long as they're not putting them on Facebook, or I don't even care if they're sharing them. As long as it's with trusted people who you can say, hey, I know 100% these people aren't going to make this public. I mean, you're going to want to talk to somebody about it. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? If you can be mature and professional about it, I don't see a problem with it. Mike Esri says, Snay being proud of hanging out with Tony Klein tells me a lot, all I need to know. I don't know what that has to do with the crime scene photos. I doubt that. They're either fake and he can't spot the fake, or they are real and he just couldn't help himself but to tell us, you know, we had to know that he has them in his possession for whatever reason. Hey, Tony, is it true the crime scene photos leak? I don't know. And I think the fact that I don't know is a good thing. That means it's somewhat contained. But I'm not going to blindly assume that they're real. Are you going to take the whole damn forest? Sorry, Delphi. You are now evidence. No, but seriously, like, what do you take? And I guess they did take the sticks. It's not like they didn't take them. Yeah, I took a look at that, Frank. There's a lot to go over. I don't got that kind of time. We're about to get out of here. Trying to catch up on the chat here. There are probably 1,000 sticks within a 50-foot radius of that crime scene. Not CSI. I don't know how they determine what's relevant and what isn't, especially in a forest area. Yeah, maybe they dropped the ball. Yeah, Angela, but I don't know a whole lot about collecting DNA. I don't know how is it possible to get a fingerprint or something like that off of sticks? And maybe something in their training is like telling them this was done after, you know. The likelihood of us finding any DNA on this is not high. Big Fish says, I mean, anything touching the bodies or anything with blood should have been collected. It was collected. The only problem was it was collected, I think, like 2 to 3 weeks after. I think that's the issue. But I mean, overall, it was collected. I would have collected the entire part of that tree too. But then again, if you have a photo and you have a sample of the DNA from it, should that tell you everything you need to know? What would you get from that evidence if you had it in your possession that you wouldn't get from a photo and a sample of the actual blood? James says yes. Quantico knows definitely more than us commoners. Yeah, and that's where they train FBI agents. Slathering says, I think we're going to be very surprised at the amount of stuff they have. Are you talking about the prosecution? Yeah, they're waiting for something. And there might be some truth to what the defense is saying. Like I told you, this could be a veiled confession, right? Richard Allen to me is the source of the Odinism theory. When he came into his to speak to his defense team, for the first time, one of the early on in the investigation, he came in there and said, "Is my wife alive?" Because he knew it would elicit a response. What do you mean, Richard? What do you mean, is your wife alive? What's wrong? You can talk to us. We're here to protect you. They're going to kill her. Who? The Odinites. It's that simple. Now, why would he spoon feed them this whole Odinism thing? Well, if he's the one who laid it out in the crime scene, wouldn't he be prone to doing that? Isn't this step two? First, you stage the crime scene to mislead investigators, and then you lean on that. But first, I haven't even made up my mind yet, personally, right? If that's what we're looking at. Is it a ritual? No, it looks like a sloppy crime scene to me. Is that an F on the tree? I don't know. Peter's asking, have you seen the photo salute? No, I haven't. No, I haven't asked for them. Nobody that I talked to has sent them to me or brought them up. So I'm not part of that little group. Did you see the short clips of Noe? No, I don't watch Noe's channel. When people step away from all the drama stuff, I might start watching. Jim Cook says Doolin could be an intentional part of this. What do you mean intentional? Yeah, that's a good point. Doolin is the reason this got misfiled. It's true. Did Richard Allen trick him? Nothing to see here, officer. Just little old me. Or did Dan Doolin say, hey, I'm going to take care of this? You got nothing to worry about, buddy. I'm going to go ahead and move some words around right here in case they ever do find it. I'll have a good excuse. Oh, I just slipped up here with one word there. Easy mistake. Slathering says they could have known about Richard Allen as soon as they turned himself in, but letting him walk around was more beneficial at the time. Yeah, especially if they thought there was others involved and they had a good idea of what was going on. Like, okay, Richard Allen kidnapped the girls, but because of the DNA and all of this other pieces of evidence that are at the crime scene, it doesn't really match Richard Allen. So he's working with other people. Whoever did the physical act of the murder, that's whose DNA is over here, and that's who's involved in the rituals, if that's what they are. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why is Richard Allen part of this? Well, remember, his brother-in-law had passed away. His wife was not around as much. She was over in Peru taking care of her mother because her brother just died. Her brother was the one taking care of him. So you have Richard Allen all alone with his thoughts. Who's he hanging out with? He's obviously not adamant just staying at home. That's not enough. Just sitting on the front porch drinking a beer. No, he's out at this trail, multiple layers of clothing, backing into the CPS building with his gun on him. Obviously, one in the chamber at some point in time. Yeah, that's a good point too. He recorded everyone but Allen, or he recorded Allen and he misplaced the recording. But yeah, there could be something there, Jim. That is the main reason we're having this conversation now and not back in 2017 is because of the actions of Dan Doolin, possibly. Yeah, that's a serious statement. And definitely one that is not overlooked by me. Just not much to do with that information. All right, this is a 5-minute warning. Would you be okay? Snake and others had pics of Libby was your child. Would I be okay with it? No. But I also wouldn't be okay if it was my child that was killed. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is a horrible thing that happened. People need to know the truth. Or it could be my kid, right? I'm not sure what you mean. Everything that stems from this case is about a murder of two kids, Abby and Libby. There's nothing good about it. So I'm not sure what you mean. That part, so let's start there. That's not good, right? Ruth Ann, oh, that's your opinion. Only time will tell. So far, not so good, but not that big of a deal, in my opinion. It's just revealing things I've already knew about the person. Slathering says they just seem to focus on the most on two groups of people, KS, Ks, and As. At the last minute, if they were waiting on him to do something, maybe he did it or they got tired of waiting. Well, one thing that did happen that I noticed, Latherings, is that on YouTube, people were talking about the 40 caliber bullet. So during the whole Wabash River search, and it was the fourth week of that search when they apparently found the Dan Doolin tip narrative. And you had a lot of these YouTubers who were coming out with this inside information. They're like, "Oh, we've learned that there was a 40 caliber bullet." So it's almost like they could have forced the investigators to make the arrest. Like, damn it, that's the information we didn't want released. Because now, if you release it, the killer's going to see it. He's going to get rid of his gun. So that is the only thing that I noticed personally that may have forced their hand, if they had prior knowledge of who it could have been, was people coming and making that public. Redfoot, I heard somewhere that they cut some of the tree down and we're at the crime scene. It's probably just hearsay. Well, according to Barbara McDonald, they took a sample, but they didn't cut it out of the tree. And from her understanding, it's still there. I agree with that, Miss Smalla. Yeah, where's this gag order, right? Yeah, what gag order? David Gray, how did Richard Allen trick him into writing the last name Whiteman? Who said he tricked him? I'm saying he tricked him into thinking that nothing to see here. Like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? Do you guys even think ever? You can always tell a hater.
What are you talking about? You know, they always talk like this. Sound like little weasels.
It's like, just think before you say something, please. At the very least. Oh, thank you, Julia. Appreciate it. We are now official. Sponsored by Julia Burns. Thank you. All right, guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way out. And replay crew, let me know what you think about all this craziness. I think it's a non issue. As long as we don't see images pop up on Reddit or anything like that, Facebook, YouTube, be responsible. So I think we'll learn a lot about these people here in the coming weeks. They grabbed the only person they could with very little evidence. See, how did I know? How did I know this? How did I know we had a weird one in the group? See that? See the intuition? Oh, not a hater, he's a thinker.
I disagree with everything you say, Sleuth. He's innocent.
Let me guess. You're one of those Kelsey accusers. I'll bet my left leg that David Gray thinks Kelsey had something to do with that at one point in time. Or it still does. She's part of the cult. Little one says Snake will not release the pics. Another creator released autopsy pics of a little boy and she was crucified. I don't think she was crucified. And I don't think she released them. I think she sold them, like privately online. Which was really weird. It's up to you guys to make up your own minds. People make mistakes also, right? I hope not. If they do, we kind of know where they're coming from. Thanks, Brad. Outside of the Grid, great podcast. Go check it out. You won't regret it. Little one says, it is a non-issue. I agree. It is. The important thing is they're not out there and you still haven't seen them. And neither have I. And it's not affecting my ego one bit. I'm happy about that. But if I did see them, remember, guys, I believe in God. I believe in heaven. We're not looking at Abby and Libby. We're looking at their vehicles. And just like I believe all the loved ones that I've lost in the past are looking down and watching my actions, so are they. Abby and Libby are looking down and watching all of this. That's how I feel. Peace out, Frank. Thanks for holding it down. Yeah, that's funny. People on Reddit actually think that Alan is about to be released. Well, yeah, it's because they know that it was Kelsey that did it. It can't be Richard Allen. They've been too busy accusing Kelsey because it was obviously her, right? It can't be Richard Allen because that would make them wrong. Richard Allen was never on their radar, so it can't be him. You guys have to see these behavioral traits that I'm seeing. You got to be able to observe that. What's up, Charlotte? All right. And that's it for the chat. Peace out. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you, James. Same to you. GP, always good to see you. Absolutely. They are looking down at us to find their justice. Yeah, we got to help with that. Even if that just means awareness. Not bickering, not fighting, not hating, not doxing. So you see people doing that kind of stuff, just remember who they're here for. Yeah, they don't have a good record. Thank you, Melinda. You got it, Julianne. All right, guys, that's it for my time. I'll try to get together with you guys later. I want to do a true crime call-in. I want to go over the Crystal Rogers information and the breaking news on that case. It's really interesting and an exciting time for people who were covering this case, who knew that they killed her father. I mean, we just knew it, right? Well, it looks like they can now prove it, guys. Hopefully, we can dive into that later. And hopefully, you guys will call in and give me your opinions and let me know how you feel about that case. So, until the next time, peace.